I'd seen him around, but they all seemed too preoccupied to panic about anything unrelated to academics. Finally, about a week later, on the morning of my Art Hum exam, Stubby was back in his spot. He looked and sounded the same as always. RESPECT, find out what it means to me. I remember wanting to ask where he had disappeared to, but I decided to RESPECT his privacy. I popped $5 in his cup that morning, which was a considerable percentage of my personal assets, and therefore excuses me from any accusations that I'm just a spoiled Ivy Leaguer trying to pay off my liberal guilt. Then I took my exam and got an A. See? I do care about people. I am compassionate about the plight of the homeless. I'm going to close parentheses now before the contents get any more self-serving. So far, I've taken the NJ Transit number 76 Schorr Points Express for 2 reasons: holidays and aid in nutritional or laundry-related emergencies, specifically too little of one and too much of the other. On the laundry-related bus trips, I experienced the novelty of being the Port Authority passenger who no one wants to sit next to, as 2 duffels worth of moldy clothes made me an even less desirable neighbor than the unlit, cigar-chewing old-timer with the spooky glass eye who continually requested help with his TV Guide crossword puzzle. As usual, I've allotted myself too much time for the type of mass transit travel delays that only seem to occur when I'm not prepared for them. So, with nothing else to do, I've spent money I can't afford to squander. I blew $3.80 on a speckled black and white composition notebook to match the dozen or so speckled black and white composition notebooks that I have exclusively used for my journals since you moved 1,000 miles to Tennessee in 10th grade. I don't even know why I bought it, though, since my old one still has 10 blank pages, and I hope that seeing Marcus for the first time since mid-January won't provide more than 10 pages of angst. Speaking of, I promise you'll get more mail from me once Marcus and I are reunited. You've been very kind not to remind me that I haven't been sticking to our totally guilt-free guidelines for keeping in touch, especially when you wrote monthly, called weekly, emailed, IM'd daily, and still found time to emerge as one of the most promising visual artists in the history of the Rhode Island School of Design. I know you hate hype, but those black and white portraits of notable nobodies from your extraordinary photography project were so tragicomically brilliant, even as mere JPEGs via email. I'll redeem myself over the next few months, you'll see. You escaped more than 3 years ago, but I still consider you an honorary member of Pineville High's class of 2002. A dubious honor, that. I'm sure you can't wait to hear all about the former classmates I'll try and fail to avoid all summer. So yes, I've been the hetero-female variation of Pussy Whipped. I wrote to Marcus so much this past year that it was hard to find time to write to you, too. And while I'm making excuses, I'll also mention how I actually had to apply myself for the first time in my academic career. I'd like to apologize, but I won't. And not just because a lack of contrition provides the very foundation of the guilt-free guidelines. You know me well enough to recognize that I'm in agony anyway, because it's been a long time since I've enjoyed more than the figurative effects of my sexually spellbound condition. Dick-whippedly yours, J. To J. Darling at columbia.edu from Flutie_Marcus at gakai.edu. Date, May 31st, 2003. Subject, Poetry Spam number 21. Furious Flutter. Awakened hummingbird heart. Hello, hello, love. Original message from Joe Mailbiz. Bracket ZIHXZIWKYG at mailbiz.com.